Hello there. Ellen from Ellen's Healthy Kitchen here with you. I thought it would be fun to take you along with me while I prep for the upcoming Jewish holiday of Passover. And the menu that I've chosen can easily be used for Easter, or honestly for pretty much for any meal or any holiday, but I did try to up the game a little bit and make it extra special. So I think before I continue, I'm going to pull down the blinds over here so we don't get distracted. Pull down this one. Okay. Let's see if that helps us at all. Having a little extra light. And we have water close by because when I do these lives, I tend to get very thirsty. And so I'm delighted that you're here. And I am going to ask if you are, where you're watching from. Let me know that. I'm coming to you from Gloucester, Massachusetts. And it's been a crazy day. Is anybody else celebrating either Passover or Easter this month? Let me know. And I know that when I first learned how to cook many, many years ago, I was in the dark a lot because I didn't live near my parents. And I really had to learn kind of on my own. And I did. It's been many, many years. I'm 70 now, and I've been cooking since my early 20s. And, you learn a few tricks of the trade as you go along. You learn how to cook, and you learn from watching videos. You learn from many cookbooks that I own, and you learn how to cook. So I am here now to serve you and to show you how to prepare for either Passover or Easter, if either of those are your holidays. So let's see. Kate is coming from Marion, is that how you say it? Marion, Ohio. And Nora is coming from Berkeley. Welcome. Are either of you celebrating either Passover or Easter? Mary says she's watching while at work from Southern California, might be in and out. That's fine. I plan on uploading this and keeping it in my playlist of lives. So you'll be able to come back, and I'm going to try, no guarantees, but I am going to try to add chapters so that if you see me prepare a certain dish and you really want to know what it is, you can look in the show notes below the video, and it'll say the soup was done at such and such a minute. So if you have any questions at all, do not hesitate. I see the live stream, and I want to make sure you can hear me okay. Let me know in the live chat if you would. Can you hear me okay? And I'm going to continue to get my ingredients together. This is a very, very impromptu last minute, but I went to the market, got all my ingredients, came home, and didn't even unpack everything immediately. So I have it spread out on the counter behind me. And I thought, you know what? While I'm making the soup, why not do a live and show people how you make it? So that's what I'm going to do. The first recipe that I'm going to make, the first recipe I'm making is hello from Dallas. Hi, Roxy. Welcome. So glad to have you here. The first recipe I'm going to make is an asparagus, fennel, and leek soup. And just so that you know my process, my plan is, let me get my notes over here. Let's see. I'm going to grab my notes because I want to tell you exactly what I'm doing and when. Okay. So today's Thursday, and today I'm making the asparagus, fennel, and leek soup. And I'm also going to make the casserole that is made with sweet potatoes. And it's actually a recipe that, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. It's a recipe that my mother, may she rest in peace, wrote out so very many years ago. She's been gone since 2003. May she rest in peace. But I have her card, which to me this is gold. I really should laminate it. And it's in her handwriting, which just makes it extra special. It's like she's here with me. I love that. I actually sent a copy of this to my sisters and my kids. They should all have this. Okay, gonna put that down. So anyway, today I'm going to make the asparagus, fennel, and leek soup and the tsimis. That's the sweet potato casserole, which is delicious. It's made with sweet potatoes and carrots. And well, I'll explain it as I go along. Okay, so that's Thursday. On Friday, so tomorrow, I am making I used to eat, when I ate meat, I used to eat chopped liver. Now let's see, wait. Apple O'Day is, hi Ellen, I'm new to your channel and it's nice to catch your live stream. I'm so glad that you did. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I'm actually going to prep today, and I think what I'll do is I will do a live today, tomorrow, and Saturday and just take you through what I am doing to prepare for Passover. So anyway, I used to eat, when I ate meat, I ate chopped liver. Now, even people who are meat eaters don't necessarily like chopped liver, but I used to love it. And since I am vegan and completely whole food plant-based, I had to find a substitute for it. So what I'm making is something, I don't even like the name of it. It's called mock chopped liver. I'd rather call it something like a mushroom pate, because it's really the base of this recipe is mushrooms. Anyway, so that's tomorrow, is mock chopped liver. And also I'm making a spinach artichoke dip. Don't mind the yawns. Don't mind the yawns. Okay, and then Saturday, I'm making and I'm also tomorrow making a frittata, which is kind of like a quiche, but I'm making it not with eggs, of course, because I'm vegan. I'm making it with chickpea flour and some other ingredients, obviously. And then on Saturday, I'm going to make the charoset, which is, in order to make charoset, you don't have to be able to say it, but I will tell you that you will love it. It's delicious. It's made with chopped apples and chopped walnuts and wine, and it's just fabulously delicious. It's wonderful. So I will do that probably on Saturday. And I'm going to see my whole list. Right. So I'm doing, and this, did I say the spinach artichoke dip? I think I did. Yeah, that's tomorrow. So I have lists. I'm going to make them even neater and put them like on the wall behind me here, and maybe over there on the fridge. So anyway, before I continue, does anybody have any questions at all about what I'm doing? And I'm just gonna, even if this is a 3-hour live, you might decide to leave and go have dinner or go do something and then come back, and I'll still be here, because my plan is to just make these two things with you. I can't guarantee it. I might get to the end of the soup and go, oh, I'm done. I'll get up in the morning and do the other one. But at least I'm going to start and do this soup right now. All right. So, if you're not a cook and you still are finding your way around the kitchen, then one of the things that I will tell you is that it's very important to review your recipe first before you get started, because the last thing you want to do is get to the middle of the recipe and realize you don't have an ingredient. That's not a good thing. So I'm going to review it with you. Now, I will tell you that this recipe calls for butter or olive oil. And those of you who have been with me for a while know that I do not use any butter at all, and no oil. I'm completely oil-free. So I just eliminate that. I tend to saute with water or stock. That works for me. Okay, so we have 2 fennel bulbs, which I have here. And if you've never had fennel, it's also called anise, anise, A-N-I-S-E. And it has these beautiful fronds, gorgeous. And then this is the bulb that you eat. So I will cut this off. I always hate throwing the top away. I mean, I'll compost it, but I always feel like there should be something you can do with the top of the fennel. So I have 2 of these. And then the next thing is 4 leeks. So I have They came 2 in a pack, so I have these 2 and another 2. Look how big they are. So that's the next thing, the leeks, 4 leeks. Then it calls for onions, 2 yellow onions, which I have right here. Oh, yep, I have my onions are here. And then the next thing is asparagus, and it calls for 2 bunches. This is big. It's from Costco, so I think this is way more than 2 bunches, and I'll just have to eyeball it and figure out what I'm going to do with it. Then it calls for chicken stock, but because I'm vegan, I'm going to use vegetable broth. Broth and stock, I don't know the difference, but I use either, whether it says stock or broth, that's what I'm using. Salt, pepper, and then it calls for a cup of half and half. And again, that is not vegan. So I will likely use soy milk. Maybe I'll make cashew milk, because cashew milk or oat milk, they're thicker, and it might be more of a good replacement for the half and half. We'll see. I think that doesn't happen right away. And then it also calls for julienne basil, and I do have a beautiful, I don't know where it is. Oh, it's right here. I have a beautiful bunch of basil right here, which I will use at the end for julienne. I'll julienne it and then add it to my soup. Okay, so that's that. Put that in here. And let's see, I have another comment. I chop and freeze fennel fronds to put in smoothies and add fresh to salads. Yes, and I've made pesto with it, not alone, but other greens. That's very interesting. So the question I have is, then, so I call these the fronds, but what about these harder pieces? They're kind of almost like celery. Do you use those as well? I'm always happy to learn new tricks. So thank you for telling me that. Let me know about whether you use this stuff too. Okay. So let's see. So Apple says, yes, I use both the stems and fronds. Excellent. Okay. So I will follow your lead, and I will make sure to clean them, freeze them, and then I'll use them maybe tomorrow in a smoothie. If you come back tomorrow to my live, I'll let you know if I've made the smoothie or not. Okay. So I read through the ingredients. Step number 1, I have everything. I made my list before I went to the market today and made sure to get everything. Directions, also important for those of you who are fairly new cooks. Read through your directions so you're not surprised by anything. So in a large, heavy soup pot, it says to heat the butter or olive oil, which I will be using water instead, and add the fennel, onions, and leeks, and then cut or break the rough ends of the asparagus and discard, cut off 2-inch tips from the asparagus and reserve it. Slice the remaining asparagus into 1/2-inch pieces, add them to the pot, cook that for 10 to 15 minutes, stirring until the vegetables are tender. Add the stock, salt, and pepper and bring to a boil. Reduce the heat to a simmer. Cook another 20 minutes. Meanwhile, bring a small saucepan of water to a boil. Add the reserved asparagus tips and cook for 2 minutes. When done, drain and transfer to a bowl of ice water, etc. And beyond that, I don't need to read right now. So I think that what I'll do is my next step, I'm sure that those of you who are watching know that the next step would be to start prepping the ingredients and create what's called mise en place, which is where it's a French term, which basically means you're going to have everything, or as much as you can, in place, in bowls, in plates, whatever, just so that you're not rushing around trying to get everything done when you're trying to make this recipe. So I'm going to push you over here a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to make sure, right, that I'm going to add the fennel, onions, and leeks. So I'm not going to worry about, I'm going to do the fennel first. So let me get my cutting. You know what? I think I'll just use this cutting board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this so that you can see it. All right. So I'll be in and out. I'm still here, but I want you to see. So I'm going to take the leeks and put them aside. And I'm going to take the fennel, the 2 bulbs of fennel, and I am going to take off the, let's see if anybody has any questions. I wonder if, Let me just go here. I'm going to take off the Velcro and put that aside on both of them. Okay. And I am going to cut off all but the bulbs, and I'm going to put it aside because Apple told me that I can use those in some soup. You know what I mean, in smoothies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take them and put them in here for now. I'm not going to bother cleaning them. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. And I do love the taste of fennel. It's got a sort of a licoricey taste. And it would be very interesting. I think I need a recipe. I will have to go on YouTube and see if I can find a recipe for a smoothie that's made with fennel. Okay, I'm actually going to take this and put it out of the way over here. And it says, let's see, the fennel bulb, top and core removed and chopped into 1-inch pieces. Okay, I'm assuming that they mean this core. And by the way, this is a soup recipe that I've never made before. So it's new for me. So I'm making it and guessing to some extent right along with you. Okay. So, by the way, this is a completely 100% vegan, whole food, plant-based, no oil menu, the whole thing. All right, so let's read it one more time. Core removed and chopped into 1-inch pieces. So I think that they mean this. I would think. I might, let's see, I'm going to taste it. Oh my God, that is so good. If you've never had it before, you must. It's just delicious. Okay. I am one to not waste, so I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to take, so there's this core. I don't want to waste it. I don't want to waste any of it if I don't have to, so I'm going to sort of cut around the core. And there we go. See, this still has some of that core left on it. Take one more bite of that. All right. Oh, this core came out easily. Okay. That is so good. All right. I'll cut it into, I'm not going to be too fussy about how I cut it because I know it's going to just get cooked. All right. Yeah. Okay. Has anybody here not ever tried fennel before? I think, inside your intestines, right? You have your what's called, if you maybe some of you have heard of this, you have your microbiome, which is basically a living universe of bacteria that live inside your belly. And our bellies, our microbiome, love a diversity of plants. There's a kind of a common knowledge in the plant-based movement to eat at least 30 plants at a meal. And I would say I probably oftentimes exceed that because I'm so literally so plant-based. All right, so this is not too bad, not too hard. So I have to do my best not to eat it all. That is so good. It really tastes just like licorice. So there's the first one. And if anybody has a question, just give a holler. I think what I'm going to do, let me just check about in the directions. In a large pot, heat the pot, add the fennel, onions, and leeks. Okay, so the fennel, onions, and leeks, I'm going to put them in a big bowl so that I have room on my cutting board. All right, this over here. And I have this handy nifty tool that's really used for, I think, for bread, but I use it to scoop. Let's see what I'm doing. I'm scooping it. It just makes it easier to move your ingredients. All right, here comes the next one. I'm going to cut off the bottom, and then I'm going to save what I can. I'm just not going to save the end of the core because it's hard. So this is what's left. And then I'm going to cut this into pieces, into slices. I don't know why I don't get this more often, because I really love it. I just never think to, you know? It's just one of those things. All right, let's see. Here's a little bit of the core in here. I'm going to take that out. It's funny. It's got like, it almost looks like, if you see it, almost looks like a little bit of lettuce. Here, that green stuff. I think that's the core. I think I will continue to do this. In the meantime, I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. Let me see. Hi, everyone. Hello, Ellen. I'm so happy I finally got in on a live chat. Kim from Texas here. Hi, Kim. So glad that you made it. I decided to try at this time of the day and just see if anybody was on. I mean, you know, it depends on where you live in the country, right? So I am making a fennel, asparagus, fennel, and leek soup. And this is the first thing that I'm making for our Passover Seder, which is on Saturday night. And we'll see how far I get. My goal is to try to make 2 things tonight, 2 things now. I don't know if I will, no guarantees. And then 2 things later. I'm sorry, 2 things tomorrow, maybe 3 things tomorrow. And then the balance of it on Saturday. And tomorrow I have a friend coming over, a neighbor, to help. So that will really make things go a lot faster. Okay. So how many people here, if you're on, let's see, how many people are following either a completely whole food plant-based lifestyle or even just partial? You know, some people are plant curious. That's a lot of times what it's called. They're curious. They're not all the way. Maybe they never intend to go all the way plant-based. I'm just curious to know. Let's see, Prodigal Aquarist. Hello, so nice to have you here. It's kind of like a nice little community I've begun to create, and I love it. I'm preparing for the holiday of Passover, and I thought I would just take you guys along with me and try not to eat all the ingredients. Good. I'm chopping up fennel. You know, some people will not make a new recipe for company. I am not that person. I am always willing to try things. I have a good eye for recipes. So I'm willing to take a chance. And I would say, I got to look at my list a lot. Let's see, trying to see of the recipes I'm making for the Seder. And we have 8 or 9 people coming. There's a 9th one who's a maybe. The soup I've never made, the one that I'm making right now, that's new. The tzimmus, which is a sweet potato casserole, I have made. Somebody's bringing salad. I've never made the maple roasted carrots. I have never made this particular frittata. And I've made the charoset. I've never made the spinach artichoke dip or the mock chopped liver. And the macaroons, the cookies that I'm going to make. So there you go. This is a totally new recipe for me. Okay, so Cass says about 90% plant-based. Yeah, and I'm curious if you're, those of you who are willing to let me know, like, what do you want to go fully plant-based, or do you have challenges with it? Let me know, because if I can help you, I will. Oh, yeah, apple. I know the menu sounds delicious, right? I'm really, really psyched. And I have to tell you that I've not planned or executed a Passover Seder in over 20 years, just for various reasons. But now I just decided yesterday really to do it. And I'm so excited. Claudia says, 8:30 in the morning here in Australia, totally plant-based vegan. Welcome to my tribe. I mean, you're all part of my tribe. And my goal is to help anybody who wants to be plant-based, whether they want to be partially or all the way, whatever it is. I am your go-to person to help you learn how to make the transition. And I will tell you, I was fully plant-based. I ate chicken, I ate meat, I did all that. I ate dairy, I ate lots of butter and lots of oil. And it was not a super easy transition, but I did it. And I'm here to tell you about it. So Prodigal says, dedicated omnivore here, but have pivoted my intake due to a genetic iron metabolism disorder. Okay, I'd like to know more about that. Kim says, I'm working on finding my why. And that's one of the things I coach people. And I first thing we talk about is what your why is. Why do you want to make excuses? And also why do you want to be whole food plant-based? You need to really have a strong why. M says, hi, Ellen. I really enjoy watching you. I'd love to know more about your journey. Have you struggled with your weight? I've been whole food plant-based for several years, vegetarian for 40 before that. So many good questions. Let's see. Let me just take one at a time. I have struggled. Well, let me put it this way. When I met my husband in 2015, up until that point, really from the age of 21 or 20 until I met my husband and I was 50, let's see, I'm 70 now, so do the math. It was, I met him almost 10 years ago. And for all those decades, I thought I was fat. That's what I called myself, fat. I looked at pictures of myself. I looked in the mirror and I said I was fat. And when I look back at those pictures now, I think I was off my mind. But we are so inured, what's the word I want? Inured, so convinced by social media, by magazines, by movies that we have to be thin, and it's not something that's realistic. And we all have different bodies, right? That we all have to accept that that's not easy when the standard is, skinny, twiggy types. I've gotten to a point now where I don't focus so much on the weight as I do on the strength. I want to be strong. So when we met, though, I was kind of flirting with veganism, vegetarianism, and I did that for a few years before we met. And then when we met, I fell madly in love and just completely went over to his way of eating, which was totally meat-based, totally what's called a standard American diet, SAD, standard American diet. And I just, I never thought about eating vegan again. I just ate the way he ate, and I cooked the way he wanted to have food. And I also, at 6:00 every night, I had a cocktail because that's what he did. And I wasn't a drinker, but I became a drinker of wine, or I would have a gin and tonic, or at the time he was making Moscow mules. So before you know it, I put on like 20 pounds, and I was happy because I was in love, but I was also really not happy with my weight. So my first impetus, my first foray into whole food plant-based and oil-free was to lose the weight. And I went on diets. I'm not going to name them here because I don't want to be held liable, but I went on all the diets that you know and have heard about, all the names. I counted points. I weighed and measured my portions. And I did it obsessively. And I went on, like I said, I think I counted the other day, I think it was 5 diets. And I lost the weight, but it wasn't easy. And I wasn't happy because I was hungry a lot and I just felt miserable. And in around 2018, I started just down another path, and I happened to stumble on somebody who I consider my mentor. Her name is Chef AJ. And I watched every video of hers I could get my hands on, and that was it. I was done. And I became completely whole food plant-based, completely oil-free. And to this day, that's how I am. And so I really started kind of flirting with it in 18, landed on, I'm going to do this in 19. 2 years later, after trying and, with some success, lost a little bit of the weight. But then in 2021, I took a 10-day challenge with another person who I consider one of my mentors. Her Instagram name is Plant Versed. And I did her 10-day challenge, and it turned me around completely. I learned about reading labels, and I learned about fat content, and I learned about the starch solution. And that really was a major turning point for me. And I did it, and I really tried not to focus on the weight. And what I noticed that was I would lose a pound, gain a pound, lose 2 pounds, gain a pound. It was just this jockeying back and forth. But the whole time I was moving down, 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 down to the weight that I am now. And what I allowed myself to do was to not think about the, I didn't force myself to go and do heavy HIIT exercises and classes at the gym that were what I did was I focused on the food and I walked. Those are the 2 things I did. I focused on the food and I walked. In retrospect, I wish I had started lifting weights then, but so be it. I had a lot of damage in my psyche to untangle around fatness, and still am untangling it. And I don't want to even use that word in a pejorative way. Fat is, it's just, I want people to be at the weight that they're comfortable at, that they feel good at. I don't care what your weight is. Everybody has to make their own decisions. I know for me, I wanted to lose those pounds that I had gained, and I wanted to get back to what felt good for my body. So I did that. And the whole food plant-based is a way of eating that you have to learn the tricks of the trade. And for those of you who are interested, I'm running a 10-day challenge. Smack in the middle of finishing my guide. It's going to be a very extensive, complete guide for how to do this 10 days. And I will be publicizing it soon with a link for joining. And it's going to be limited because I can only take so many people. And so if you're interested, please do let me know. You can email me at Ellen's Healthy Kitchen if you want to reserve your spot. I'll tell you more about it. So I hope that's a short answer, really. There's more. I could go on and on. And Kim says, yes, strong and healthier. Amen to that. Yep. Where you feel comfortable is what is best. Exactly. And that, for me, I am really comfortable, and I've been at this weight now for a couple of years, and I just want to teach other people how to eat to support what you want. And my hope is that people will go whole food plant-based, oil-free if they can, if they want to, and if not, just make some efforts to, every time you have a meal that's, on the weekends, I'm just going to have what I don't usually eat. So if you did it every weekend for one day, and you did that every single weekend, that's 52 days of not being consistent on your way of eating. Well, that's almost 2 months. That's a big chunk of time to not pay attention to what is going to support your health. That's one way to look at it. Okay. I'm going to keep going now. So I could also do another live where I just talk about this stuff because I am passionate about it. All right. So now you see the fennel is all done. Next is going to be the leeks. That's the one. It says white and light green parts cut in half horizontally, cleaned well and chopped. All right. I know that leeks are bare when it comes to cleaning. They're very dirty. So I'm going to take off the... These are hard to get. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Just pull it out. So I have these 2. And we have, like I said, 8 people definitely coming and a possible 9th. But I don't think he is going to come. And and I don't have to make everything. Somebody's bringing salad. Another person is bringing strawberries and blueberries. But I'm making everything else. So, okay, this is going to go over here. And let's see. I signed up for your email. Will you be sending emails that way, or should I separately email specifically for the 10-day channel? If you have my email, which you should through my emails that you're getting, you can just let me know, and I'll respond to you, and I'll give you the details. And you can tell me, if you want to pay in advance, if you want to just to let me know that if you just want to make sure you let me know, that's okay too. Whatever works, whatever floats your boat. All right, so I have 4 of these, and they're very dirty. Can you see the dirt in there? Right there. So leeks are notoriously dirty. So I'm going to push this down again, and I will come back and look at the chat again. But first I want to get this done. So it said, right, the white and the light green. So you can see that goes up to about here. Actually, it's here. Okay, so I'm going to take these. And oh my goodness, I think what I'm going to do is get another bowl. I have not done leeks in such a long time. And I think what I'm going to do is take this bowl and let's see, it says to cut in half horizontally. So that would be this way. This way, I think. And I'm just going to put this over here and I'm going to clean them. And just really, really try to get the dirt out. So this is going to take me a little bit of a while. So if anybody has questions, let me know. Oh, look at how dirty that is. Wow. I'm not even going to save that. That's too dirty. Maybe what I'll do, look at that. That's so interesting, right? Comes right from the dirt, right from the garden. I think I'm going to put them in this bowl, and then I'm going to run water over them. I think that will be better to do. Smells so good. Okay, I'm going to cut these in half this way. And let's see, anybody? This knife, Kim says, apple. Let's see, today. I never thought of freezing them. Yeah, cool, right? So see if she answers. And Prodigal says, I need a knife like that. This was a birthday present for my daughter, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't say enough about it. It's really great. Okay, so I have that. And I think what I'll do is, no, I'm going to keep going. I was going to say I'll do, maybe I'll do 2 at a time. So I'll get that off. And then just keeping the light green stuff. I wonder I guess you really can't keep the other stuff. And then I'm going to clean that dirt off. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wash them like this. And I will then fill this bowl with water and see if I can't sort of soak the dirt out. I don't know. This is new for me. You're watching me try something new. Look at all that dirt. I'll just get rid of that. Okay. Get rid of that. I wish that you could smell. This smells so good. All right, look at all that dirt there. I just want to see if I can. I have heard the way of eating is good for type 2 diabetes and heart health. Yes, very much so. If anybody's interested in learning more about diabetes, the people that I recommend are Mastering Diabetes. That's their name, and they are brilliant. I've learned a lot from watching their videos. Mastering Diabetes. And, I don't know a lot about it. I don't claim to be I'm certainly not a doctor, and I don't claim to be one. But I do know that people have been misled to think that it's just the carbs and the sugar, when in fact it's the fat that you eat that clogs up the cells and doesn't allow the sugar, which is fuel, to get to the cells. And then you get a backup. Okay, so look at that. Okay, so look at that dirt. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this with water. It is cold. Okay. And I'm going to put this over here and just see if I can get the dirt off of these pieces, and then I'll do the other one. If I were, this has to be cut in half. If I were not talking and doing this live, this would go much, much faster. But I love doing these lives because I am a teacher at heart. I have 2 teaching degrees. And while I'm not in the classroom any longer, I still feel a great obligation to pass on teaching. whether I'm teaching music, which is my background, or whether I'm teaching people how to cook and get healthy. So that looks pretty good. I'm just going to keep doing this because I want to get the little layers, make sure that there's I don't want any dirt in my soup. But I think this is good. All right. And it's also very good for heart health. You are right about that. If you want to learn more about heart health, just read Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. All right, I think that's good. I feel like I'm looking through it and I don't see any dirt. So I'm going to take this and put it into the bowl. Okay. This, put it into the bowl. This. Okay, my husband's coming down. He's going to be here, but I told him that I was doing this. So, oh, there's a lot of dirt at the bottom. Okay, next. Let me see if anybody has any questions. Okay, we are so glad to be taught. Yeah, it's so funny. I always go to do that with my laptop because I'm so used to doing it with my phone. Okay. Ellen, how long do you feel it took you to feel comfortable with this way of eating? I would say from about 2019 to 21 was when I really worked on. I read a lot. I watched a lot of videos. And, I needed to make sure that my why was strong. And because I can tell you for sure, I get asked constantly why I do this and why don't I eat oil and how come I'm vegan? And I mean, I can't even tell you. I think sometimes people are curious, but I also think that they feel a little threatened. And it's like the last thing I want to do is threaten anybody. Everybody has to make their own decisions. But so to answer your question, Kim, it took probably the better part of 2 years to kind of figure it all out, because undoing 5-6 decades, whatever it was, of eating one way is not easy to do. It's challenging. So, you have to really give yourself time to do that. So I am, okay. I don't know if you saw, but I discovered that if I did this, it said to do it this way all the way across, but if I go like that and then cut them, then it saves a lot of time. And I want to save time because I got a lot of recipes to make. All right, so this is going to go in here, and I'm going to fill it with water, squish it around. All right. Let me get this out of the way. I really hate throwing these out. I'm open to suggestions, but it's one of the reasons I think I don't buy leeks. I always feel weird about throwing all that stuff away. Okay, next I am going to do what I did with the other one. These two are not as dirty for some reason. They're much, much cleaner. Okay, this is going to go into here. And then this is going to go into here. And I'll show you what the bowl looks like in a moment. Okay, that is cold water. Okay, I'm going to wipe my hands. And, okay. Okay, let me show you. This is what I have so far. This is a combination of the fennel and the leeks. And the next thing is to add 2 yellow onions, peeled and chopped. So let's see. Kim says, I was late so many. How many leeks? I can tell you that this recipe, if it'll help you, it's by 3 Hungry Boys, THREE. And I will link, when I'm totally done, either tonight or tomorrow, I will link everything in the show notes so that you'll be able to find them. Okay. Here are my onions. And it's says 2 yellow onions. You know, it's so weird. It doesn't say how big. And I don't know. So I'm going to just sort of guesstimate. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. Does your husband eat this way now? If so, was that difficult for him? My husband and I eat very differently, and he's not interested in whole food plant-based. What do you think? He just came into the kitchen. Is it difficult for you that I eat the way I do?
No, not at all.
And how do you make it work for you?
You prepare what I want to eat.
And also, a lot of the times you're eating some of what I'm eating.
That's true.
Right?
And
That's
true.
So a lot of times, like if I'm making we call it a kitchen sink bowl, where everything comes out of the fridge, all the vegetables, and then maybe I'll have it with tofu and you'll have it with what?
Oh, shrimp or
salmon.
Salmon.
Right. So do you want to pop in and say hello? And just
My one word of advice is just keep an open mind to all you husbands out there.
How come?
Because it's not half bad.
There you go. It's not half bad. There you go. Kim says, hi, Mr. Ellen.
Who does?
One of the people who's watching, Kim.
Oh.
She's been she's a new friend. She's been on a bunch. So there you go. Em, do you have any other questions you might want to ask? I guess you really bring up a good point. Some people might throw in the towel and say, well, if my partner, no matter what their gender is, if my partner doesn't eat like this, well, I'm just not going to bother. But I think that it depends on your why. I have to keep going back to that. If your why is strong enough, then you will figure out a way to make it work. And I'm happy to help you through that. I coach people privately. And when I do this 10-day challenge, that if that comes up, we can talk about it then. So Apple a Day says not half bad. Oh, she wrote not half bad, LOL. Yeah, I think he's surprised. And, I will say, and Michael, you can correct me if I'm wrong, our kids don't come right out and say it, but I do think that they all think I've lost my marbles. Wouldn't you agree that they respect my choices, but they're not, they're not.
Well, yeah. They're judgmental of the older generation.
They're judgmental of everything that we do. So, but they really think that I've lost my marbles. And the thing is that the damage, and I will try not to get too preachy, but I will tell you that the damage that's done to people's bodies is done way before you know it. Does that make sense? So you might, who knows, God willing, I hope that I have none of those chronic diseases. I mean, I'm 70 and it's rare for a 70-year-old to not be taking any medication. I take nothing. But it's hard because if you don't have an illness, why would you bother changing how you eat? And I feel the opposite. I feel like, and I'll give you an example, just another little story. I have a friend who is in my music world, and she started following me and the way I eat and emulating me about 6 months ago. And she went to her internist yesterday. She lost like 40 pounds. She is off her cholesterol medication. She's not being asked to take statins anymore, which she was 6 months ago. And at that time, she told her doctor, let me see if I can do this with food. And then she had an appointment with her cardiologist, and her cardiologist was stunned. And she texted me yesterday and she said, my cardiologist wants to know everything. How did I do? The cardiologist had no clue about this. So the doctors don't learn about it. They don't. They have maybe a minute of nutrition education when they're in medical school. And Kim says, my hubby doesn't eat this way either, but I cook his stuff. He often tries mine. Yeah, little by inches. That's all you can do. And Apple says, I've had an easy time with this lifestyle because I was raised in a vegetarian home. I'm 58. My parents are 87 and also vegan and still active. I'm grateful for them. What a great models for you. That's fantastic. And Kim says, well, Ellen, nice testimony on your friend. I mean, nice, amazing, 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 right? So I'm going to chop the onion and Does anybody else have any, thoughts, concerns, questions, challenges? I hope that maybe some of you will do the challenge that I'm running, because maybe that'll help you. We're going to be doing some journaling during the challenge and really helping people to find their why. Some people are just plant curious. That's fine too. Okay. So just so you can see what I'm doing, I am cutting up the onions. Dinner's going to be a little bit later, honey. Mm-hmm. Okay, because I'm going to get this soup made. All right. Okay. And these onions are so fresh and they're great. They're not making my eyes water. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but okay, one more. Okay, let's see. Prodigal says, leeks, kale, greens. I love them all, and I challenge you to do the same. Say more, Prodigal. Prodigal is from my YouTube world, I think, right? Say more so that I can learn or figure out what you mean. And yeah, the greens, the more greens you can eat, the better. The greens are so full of antioxidants and phytonutrients and just all the good stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to take the onions and put it in the bowl with the leeks and the fennel. And then I'm going to look at the instructions. So here's my bowl. Okay, I got this big bowl. And it says, let me go back to the directions. Now it says to heat the butter or olive oil, which I'm not using, as I mentioned, over medium heat, and add this bowl. Cut or break the rough ends of the, meanwhile, cut or break the rough ends of the asparagus and discard. Cut off 8 2-inch tips from the asparagus and reserve. I think what I'm going to do is, before I do that, I'm going to prep the asparagus. So this is the bag I got from Whole Foods. And sometimes I have to read the ingredients 2 or 3 times until it kind of sinks in. So I'm going to do that now. Cut off. So let me take out what I think. It says 2 bunches. Right, so I would say that maybe that's about a bunch. Maybe a little bit more than I need. And then I need another one. Okay, and I think that's about right. Put this over here. Okay, so what I have to do is cut or break the rough ends. Okay, I'm going to do that. Cut off 8 2-inch tips. 8 2-inch tips from the asparagus and reserve. Okay. And then slice the rest crosswise. Okay, I think I've got that now. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I'm always a little nervous about this because I don't want to waste, I don't want to waste the asparagus that might be good. And sometimes I'll even do those are delicious, so I hate throwing them out. Okay, Prodigal says, they're so versatile. Kim says, does it matter white or red? Well, the recipe calls for yellow, which are, they're white on the inside and they have like a brown skin. And Prodigal says they're so versatile and have such high nutrient values, and they're just plain yummy. Yeah, the greens. I have I have some form of greens in my breakfast every single day. I have I have the same oatmeal. I make oatmeal. I put frozen rice cauliflower in it and zucchini and carrots. That's what I had this morning. I have it pretty much every morning. Okay. Apple says, the dark green part of the leeks are wonderful in veggie stock. Or slice them thinly and roast them. Watch closely until crispy for a yummy. Oh my God, thank you. Who are you? I'm so glad that you came on. I'm learning so much from you. That is great. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. This is a skinny one. Okay, I think that's it. So I am going to give these a little bit of a wash. Although I think that the package might have said they're already washed, but I don't know. I always like to wash my vegetables. Okay, so I did cut the the bottom rough stuff up. And now it says to take 8 2-inch tips. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to take these 8. I'm going to turn this down so you can see what I'm doing. Ari says, you seem like a wonderful person, such a beautiful lady. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. All right. So I'm going to take 8. I did cut 8 of them, and I'm going to take 8 2-inch. So here's 1, here's 2. Okay, and I'm going to take these and put them aside in a little dish. So they're out of the way. Okay, so these go in here. And I'm just going to take these and put them out of the way. And then it says to take the rest of them, cut off tips and reserve, slice the remaining asparagus crosswise into 1/2-inch pieces and add them to the pot. Well, you know what? I think I'm just going to add them right to this bowl. I think that makes sense. So I'll just do this. And I just love asparagus. I'm putting it into the bowl. Okay. And I can't remember. I think that the vegetables end up being pureed, but I'm not positive. Because the picture of the soup shows it like a smooth puree. Okay. And that goes in here. All right, so now I have this. I'm going to wipe my hands. Let's see. Very apple a day. Very true apple a day. Trim the crusty ends off and use the rest. Yeah. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to heat the large heavy soup pot. I'm going to medium heat. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, move this all out of the way. And I'm going to turn you so you can see what I'm doing. Give me a second. So you can see. Okay, so I have, see my recipes on my iPhone right here. I'm going to put that out of the way. And all right, get the potatoes out of the way. Okay, let's review, shall we? Thank you. The kitchen, yeah, it's a gorgeous kitchen. We had it redone 2 years ago, and it was a totally old cabin that we redid. I'm very happy. I feel very fortunate to be in this kitchen. Okay. So it says to heat the butter or olive oil, which, as I said, I'm not doing, and add the fennel, onion, and leeks. Cut or break. We did that with the asparagus, and cook the vegetables for 10 to 15 minutes, stirring occasionally until vegetables are tender. All right, so now you're going to watch. Let me just see. You're going to watch me put, and this is an induction stove, which is a great stove, and I keep water like this next to my stove just in case I need it to make sure the vegetables aren't burning. But this is going to be on medium, so I'm not terribly concerned. And I'm going to take these. Wish me luck. I'm going to put them in here. You can hear that sizzle. Okay, I wish I had one of those overhead cameras so you could see what's going on. Okay, let's bring this a little bit closer so you see what's going on. All right, I'm going to grab I love to use these silicone spatulas. So I'm going to put that in here. I'm going to just try to mix it because it was kind of in layers. You know, the what do you call it? The fennel was on the bottom. I did that first. So I'm just going to go in and mix it. Oh, this is going to be so delicious. All right, that goes over here. So now what we're going to do is, Kim says, yes, lovely kitchen. Prodigal says sweet potatoes. Yes, they're sweet potatoes. And Ari says, I was just thinking how wonderful the kitchen is too. It is, trust me when I tell you, I cooked in the prior kitchen for how many years? Almost 8 years. And I made it work, but it was an old cabin by the water. It was just really hard to cook in it. Bedtime in London, good night. And don't forget to tap the like button thingy. Oh, yes, everybody. Thank you, Prodigal, for reminding. There's a heart. If you could tap it, that would be great. And come back and, maybe look at the show notes maybe tomorrow. But thank you, Prodigal, for being a part of this. I very much appreciate it. All right, next. Let's see what's next. All right, so this is 10 to 15 minutes. And you know what we'll do? I'll just put 12 minutes on the timer. And in the meantime, we'll look at the rest of it. Okay, and sweet dreams, Prodigal, says Kim. And, I'm hoping that we have this nice little community here. And when I do my lives, if you're all on here again, we have like a little club. It's kind of fun. Okay, next. The next thing is to add the stock. It says chicken stock, but we know I'm using vegetable stock, salt and pepper, and bring to a boil. And I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are when we get to the salt and pepper part. And then it says, meanwhile, bring a small saucepan of water to a boil and add the reserved asparagus tips and cook for 2 minutes. When done, drain and transfer to a bowl of ice water. I'm going to do that, I think, on Saturday. I'm not going to do that tonight. When the soup is done, puree with an immersion blender or a Vitamix, taking care when blending hot liquids. Returning to the clean pot, stir in half and half. Okay, so this is not, the hardest part of this soup has been chopping up the vegetables. That's it, right? So I'm gonna put this over here just so that I can have more room to talk. Piece of asparagus. Let's get the stock prepared. All right, I'm gonna look at the ingredients. And so I need 2 quarts, which is perfect. That's what this is. 1 quart, this is another one. All right, now this is not my favorite broth. So what I tend to do is I use these, they're called not chicken bouillon cubes. And I always start with this, and I'll use maybe 2 of these in with the stock. Take a second one out. And then if it still is just not to my liking, then I will add some of this. I tried to save this for like emergencies, if I have to, because it's pasty and it's got, I don't know, it just has natural flavors in it. I'm not thrilled about it, but it does add a lovely flavor, I have to say. All right, so I have this. So I'm going to be adding this, the salt and the pepper. Let's see what it says for salt and pepper. A teaspoon of salt. So I think that what I will do, let me think about this. A teaspoon of salt. Okay, I think that I try not to use too much salt, but I'm going to use this. I have some pink sea salt that I'll use. And where's my teaspoon? It's over here. So that's ready. And then the freshly ground pepper is here. So what I'm going to do now is turn you back over here so that I can go and babysit this and see what's going on. It smells really good. All right. Okay, so I don't even need to add the water. I can hear it sizzling because the vegetables were wet from when I washed them. Okay. Okay, next. I think what I'm going to do is just put this over here out of the way. And the salt and the pepper. And I'm going to, whether I make it tonight or not, I'm not sure, but I will, at the very least, I'm going to look at the recipe, for the simmus. Tzimmus is a Yiddish word, and I don't even know what the actual meaning is. Maybe somebody could look it up for me. It's spelled Tzimmes, Tzimmus. And everybody's family, everybody's mother and grandmother has their own version of tzimmus. I happen to love my mother's version, of course. And a lot of people put meat in their tzimmus. I do not. So let me tell you a little bit about this recipe. And like I said, I might make it, I might not. We'll see. It says, I'm going to read the directions first. You have to preheat the oven and then combine the first 5 ingredients. And again, this is one of those heavy on the prep stuff. So the ingredients are 4 large orange sweet potatoes that are scrubbed and thinly sliced. I think I will take my food processor out and slice them in that because that'll go really fast. And then 2 large carrots sliced thin. Again, I can do that in the food processor. 2 medium sweet apples peeled, quartered, and peeled something and diced. You know what? I got to look at the recipe because I don't think I transcribed it, and I don't think. Peeled, cored. Let me edit that. I use an app called Paprika, and it is great. I literally just this morning when I was doing this, I just dictated it into the app from here, and then I took a picture and put it in with the app so that I would always have my mother's card and her handwriting in with it. Okay, so directions again. So the first 5 ingredients get combined in a casserole. That would be the orange sweet potatoes, the carrots, the apples, the raisins or the prunes, and the walnuts. Easy peasy. And then, and also the other thing about both the soup, the reason I chose to do the soup and the tzimmus today is because it'll give it 2 days to kind of mature. It happens when there are certain recipes that, just like a chili will be better like 3 days later. All right, let's make sure that this is okay. Yep, it's great. So for those of you who are wondering, I'm not using any oil or butter, and it's doing just fine. Okay. And then after I combine all of those in the casserole, then you combine the remaining ingredients in a small bowl or measuring cup, and you toss it with the sweet potato mixture. And the remaining ingredients are honey, which is not vegan. So I can't claim to you that I'm 100% vegan because honey is not vegan. I could have used maple syrup. I could have used date syrup. I could have used agave, and you could as well. And 3/4 of a cup of orange juice. You know what? I forgot the orange juice, but I have a lot of oranges. I think I'll be able to squeeze them. A 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then a dash of clove and a dash of nutmeg. And there was margarine. Remember the days when we ate margarine? But that I omitted that. So the question is, think about whether I want to do that with the oranges. I think what I could do at the very least is I can prepare, because I have about, there's 5 minutes left on the soup, and then I can sort of go between. So does anybody have any questions at all before I keep going? Okay, I think what I'll do is scrubbed and thinly. It's interesting that it doesn't say peeled on the sweet potatoes. Let me think about that. I don't know if I want to keep the peels. I don't think I do. I think my mother probably meant peeled. Hey, Mom, did you mean peeled sweet potatoes? I think she probably did. I'm going to take that guess. Okay. All right. So for those of you who are just coming on live, my name is Ellen of Ellen's Healthy Kitchen. Welcome. And I am prepping my Saturday night is the first night of Passover, and I'm prepping my menu, which can be used for any holiday. Quite honestly, it could be used for Easter quite easily. It could be really for any holiday. Okay, here are my sweet potatoes. I will show that I got big ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think what I'm going to do is peel them right onto this plastic, and I can just throw the peels away. So, as much as I can do, I will do ahead of time. So I'm going to go like this and let you see the peeling process. Okay. This is where a sous chef would be nice. Somebody who could do this stuff for me. Okay. At least I'll do as much as I can until the timer goes off, and then we'll go check the soup and see what's going on. If there's anything, when I do these lives, if there's anything in particular that would be helpful, let me know. I could certainly have prepared the show notes ahead of time, but I just wasn't sure. This was such a last minute decision to do this that I didn't have time to do that. But I will definitely be adding, or if I don't add the recipe, I'll add the links to recipes. Okay, I will do that. This is one of the best. It's like a ceramic peeler, and it's so good. It works really well. Don't ask me where I got it. I don't know, but you could look it up on you know what I should do is put it in my Amazon store. That's what I should do. I link my Amazon store. That one's done. I always link it in my show notes so that you can look at. I always try to put everything that I use in my show notes. Okay, I'm just going to go and stir. And these have already started to reduce quite a bit, the vegetables. Okay, that smells really good. 2 minutes left. I might be able to do one more sweet potato. Let's give it a try. See how much I can get done. Okay. Let's see. All right. Do we have any questions that have come up? Let me see. Oh, 1 minute left. That's the 1 minute bell from the timer on my oven. Oh, I'll be so glad when I wake up tomorrow and 2 of the recipes are done. That will be so great. And that will be 2 less that I have to do. And Friday, tomorrow, I have help coming. My neighbor's daughter wants to help. And she and her family are Catholic, but she's in theology school, and she's very interested in learning about other religions. So I thought it would be fun to have her come. Okay, that one's done. But I have a feeling that the timer is going to go off any second. So I'm going to give this a hold. All right. And I'm going to let you see what I'm doing over here. Okay, and let's just read that one more time. There's the soup. Okay, so the timer goes off. Okay, now the directions say, cook the vegetables until vegetables are very tender. I'm not sure that they're very tender yet. I feel like they need another 5 minutes anyway. So I'm going to let them go. I'm going to let them go. Put the timer on for another 5 minutes. And I'm going to come over here and do another sweet potato. Let's see if I can get 2 more done. That would be fabulous. Any questions? Let's see. What's everybody having for dinner, or wherever you are in your world? What are you having for your next meal? Oh, this one's cleaning nicely. This one's easier to do. I'm not a huge fan of orange sweet potatoes, but I do like them in this recipe. And I also make brownies. And I also make chocolate pudding with orange sweet potatoes. I just don't love eating them plain. They're not my favorite. But they're very, very useful. And if you've never made sweet potato brownies, you don't know what you're missing. They're delicious. Okay. All right, that one's done. And then we just have one more. We'll cut that off. All right, any questions here? Let's see. I will be very glad when I get into bed tonight because there's a lot of work, but it's worth it. I love doing it. And we have books that are called Haggadahs, and we use those books to tell the story of Passover, and everybody will get their own book at the table, and we go through, have different colors of wine, and we get to eat matzah. And if you've never had matzah, I love it. I make my own. I'm going to make the matzah for me on Saturday because it has to be gluten-free. And the only matzah that they had at the store that was gluten-free had palm oil, which I never eat. And also it had, what was the other thing it had? Oh, it had eggs in it too. So I'm not going to eat that. So I'm going to just make my own. And then I got regular matzah for everybody else, regular wheat matzah. Okay, that one's done. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off the little end. All right, so I've got myself 4 beautiful sweet potatoes. And okay, sweet potatoes are done. That's good. Thank you for coming along on the ride with me. It's helping to make this go quicker. Okay, so this is going to go in the trash. I'm so glad Apple told me about those leeks. I'm definitely going to try that. Okay, let's go back and take a look at the vegetables. Would I say that they're very, very tender? Oh, no. I'm going to give them a try. No, I think they are. I have 2 more minutes. I'll let them go for 2 more minutes. And while that's happening, I'll just get this ready. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to use the Pacific. This is, if you want to know, it's Pacific. I always get low sodium. Always, always, always. For as much as I can for everything. I can't always, but I try to. I'm going to open these, because I know I'm going to use 2 of them for sure. I'm going to open this one. And there's the minute bell. So the vegetables have 1 more minute. And then I'm going to okay, so the next thing to do, just as a reminder, is we're going to add the vegetable stock, the salt, and the pepper, bring to a boil, reduce the heat, and simmer and cook for another 20 minutes. And so just so you know, I'm kind of in the home stretch, because once that cooks for another 20 minutes, then when the soup is done, I'm going to puree it with the immersion blender, which I have a stick blender. And that's it. Stir in the soy milk, which I'm going to use soy milk, and adjust the seasoning. Oh, no, I'm not going to use soy milk. I'm going to make some cashew milk and use that. Adjust the seasonings, and that's it. And you ladle it into the bowls and garnish with the julienne basil, a little bit of a dollop of creme fraiche. Well, I think I'm going to leave that off. And a little bit of where are the asparagus tips? It's interesting. They're not mentioned again, but I'm sure that they're put on the top of the soup. Okay, so here it goes. I'll put in the 2 bouillon cubes first. It's really rip-roaring now. Turn this. And I'll show you what it looks like too, if I can. I'm not sure I won't be able to, but I can try. Here goes the second one. Okay, there's that. Okay, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt. See, this way, when I do it this way, I control the salt. If it's not salty enough, I'll add more. I'll add some pepper. That's it. And I will put that up to high so it boils. And I'm kind of in the home stretch with the soup. This is great. I'm thrilled. It's going to be great. This will be the first course on Saturday night. Okay, done. All right, so while we're waiting for that, let me see. While we're waiting for that to come up to a boil, and then I will bring it to a simmer. The cool thing about induction stoves is that it brings water and any stock, any liquid, anything really, to a high heat really, really fast, which is one of the things that I love about this stove. All right, so that's that. Okay, and then it's going to reduce the heat and simmer for 20 minutes. So I think I'm cool with that. I'm going to go to the Simmers and I'm going to see. Oh, right, I was going to get out the food processor. So I'll show you what that is all about because that's going to make my life a lot easier. Wait till you see it. Okay. I'll go over here. This is really, really heavy. I'm going to show you this because you're going to be stunned at how quickly this. Who has a food processor that they use? Let me know in the chat. Who has a food processor? And I have to put on the slicer. Okay, here it comes. All right, the cool thing about this food processor is, and I'm going to show it to you, I'm going to take this, and it goes right here. This is the spindle, right there. And then I'm going to take this, which is this, it's got an adjustable slicer. And it says thinly sliced. So I am going to, let me make sure I do this right. I think that should work. Right, and then this goes on top of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my other cutting board. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I haven't washed the sweet potatoes, and I wanted to make sure to get the little bit of dirt off of them. Okay, soup is coming to a boil, so I'm going to just turn it down to low and let that go. All right, now, if I go like this, okay, now watch what I do here. I'm going to take this and put it in here, like that. And I'm going to put this here. And are you ready? Because it's going to happen in a second. Okay. Apple M says split pea soup and salad for. Ooh, that sounds delicious. I'll be right over. Ari says take care. Kim also. Oh, Kim says I'm so sorry, everyone. I have an in-person meetup I have to go to, so I will have to rewatch later. It was nice to meet everyone. Thanks, Ellen, for all your time and sharing with us. My pleasure. Ari says, take care. Kim, also, if you save the leftover veggies from the week, you add water and seasonings, and boom, you have your own veggie stock. Way more affordable. And you know, I've tried that. I usually freeze them, and then it just has never come out good. I'll try it again, though, at your suggestion. Apple says, bye, see you next time. M says, yes to the food processor. They're the best. Kate says, I had mushroom stroganoff with salad for dinner. Yum, I'll be right over. Okay, ready? Here we go. Amazing. Amazing. I'm always amazed. Every single time I'm amazed. Let's put this one in. It's like magic, right? It's like magic. Okay, next, let's just do all the potatoes. Let's make sure that the soup is simmering and that's happening. Oh, it's a little bit too low. Oh gosh, that smells awfully good. I'm going to put the timer on for 20 minutes. Okay, let's go over here. Ari says, having vegan lobster sub sandwich and vegan chocolate cake from scratch. Oh, yum. Hello. That sounds awfully good. What is vegan lobster? I'm curious. Very curious to know about that. I think this is going to be too fat. Yeah, so I think what I'll have to do, I'm going to do it like this. Like that. Okay, that's fine. I mean, you can't get quicker than that. Cannot get quicker than that. That. Okay. All right, I have 2 more potatoes to do. And I think that this is going remarkably fast. Okay, this goes there. See if I can fit. Oh, I wonder if I could fit all of them. I think I can. All right. Let's see. That one might be. Okay. Give that a try. Nope. It's too. I'll do that one afterwards. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. This is one of the most delicious recipes. My mother is watching from above, and she's thrilled that I'm making this. I am sure of it. This is the last one. The last potato. Let's see. Ari says, made from heart of palm. The best vegan fish alternative and lemon juice, seaweed, mayo, and you must send me the recipe. Ellen at ellenshealthykitchen.com. You must send the recipe. And I actually looked at a can of hearts of palm today, and I thought about getting it, and then I thought, Ellen, just get what you need. I'll tell you how I eat vegan hearts of palm. I mean, I eat it, I dip it in cocktail sauce. I love it. It's delicious. But please send me that recipe. Okay, that's done. All right, so let me just one more time look at the directions. Combine the first ingredients in a casserole. And then I need to do 2 carrots, 2 apples. I just feel like it would be great before I say goodbye to all of you. I'm just going to finish this part and just see. So a casserole. So give me a moment because I need to go across the kitchen and get a big casserole dish that I think will work. Okay. I get a lot of my things like this at Second Glance, which is a thrift shop. I'm amazed that people give this stuff away. This is a Pampered Chef. I don't know how big it is, but it'll work. So I'm going to take this, put it like this, let you see what I'm doing. And I always make sure that the food processor is off before I put my hands anywhere near it. Okay, so in goes a little bit. Look at this. Is that gorgeous? This is going to be so big. Oh my God. I think I might have gotten potatoes that are too big. Oh my God. Yeah, that's not going to work because I got to still have to add carrots and apples. I think what I am going to do is, because I can, I'm going to put the lid back in, and I am going to put this over here. And I think what I'm going to do is, because I can, God bless my mother, maybe she meant smaller baked potatoes, smaller sweet potatoes, but this is way too much. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to move some of these, and I'll have them, maybe I know what I'll do. I'm going to make them air fried tonight. That's what I'm going to do. And that will be delicious. Okay, I feel like that is good. Maybe another. Okay, this goes over here. So I have that. And I can also try, look at how beautifully thin they came. Isn't that gorgeous? Yes, ma'am, will send. Thank you, Ellen. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I can't wait to try I can't wait. I wish I had a can of Hearts of Palm right now. I would do it. Okay, this, now that I'm looking at it, let me try. I'll add the carrots and the apples and I'll see. I might end up putting some of those sweet potato slices back in. I'll see. Okay, so we need 2 large carrots sliced thin. So I'm going to go get my carrots. That one's pretty good. Yeah, these are the 2 biggest ones, I think. All right, so I'm going to cut off the ends, and I'm going to peel them because, and I also think, you know what else I think? I'm going to not make the carrots as thin as the sweet potatoes. I think I'm going to change the slicing disc to be a little bit thicker. I don't know why. It's just my instinct tells me that the carrot shouldn't be quite as thin. And okay, done. All right, so that's done. But so the first thing I'm going to do is take this disc, and I'm just going to change this. So right now, it's at, let me see how to do that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm going to make that a little bit. Let's see how they come out. We'll give it a try. Okay, so the carrots are, all right, I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to put these, I'm going to try to stand them up as best I can because I want them to slice this way. I might have to put another carrot in there. I think I will. I feel like, whoa. Okay. That. I'm going to do one more carrot. Okay. Soup is going nicely. It's simmering. I'm going to do one more big carrot. Yes. And I'm going to peel it. Sometimes you have to, cook with your instincts. And my instincts are that the carrots, I might even want to put more than 2. Or more than, now it's 3. I might want to put more. And I think what I'm going to do instead, and I'm going to show you, this is kind of a cool thing. I'm going to put that on, and then I'm going to take this. Where's my pusher? Hold on. I have a pusher somewhere. I think it's in here. Yeah. going to do this and push it down. You know what? I feel like it needs one more. It's just my instinct. Okay, one more and that's it. I promise. Here's another big one. Okay. And then we're going to add those carrots to the sweet potatoes. Yep. Okay, in it goes. All right, here we go. Okay, that's done. It's off. Off comes this. For now, I might need it again. Carrots. I'll show you what I'm doing. Carrots go in here. All right. All right, and then 2 sweet apples. So I'm going to mix these. I'm saving the best part for last, which is the sauce that goes on top of it. Okay. Just want to mix these well. So it's, got some layers of all the different things in it. Okay. Now I'm going to mix it again because I'm putting the apples in. 2 medium sweet apples, peeled, cored, and diced. All right. So I am done with the food processor. I'm going to put this over here. Just kind of get it out of the way. I'll put it over. I'm running out of room. Okay, I'm going to get 2 apples. 2 of the big ones. Okay. 2 apples. And I'm going to, it says peeled, cored. What a pain in the neck to core them. I'll use this. I'll show you what I'll do. All right. Oh, they smell good. That smells good. Okay, and then this comes out. And then do another one. Okay. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to take a little knife, a little paring knife. And I'm going to cut the skin off and just dice them. So that's it. All right. So while I'm doing that, let's see if we have any. We have a few people left. Anybody have any questions? The dressing that goes over this is what is really part of what makes this so good. I think since I'm making it, I didn't think I was going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I thought I was going to have to wait until tomorrow, but I'm going to preheat the oven so that this can get cooked. Let's see what it says. 350. I'm going to do that. Bake 350. Okay. And I think I have probably 15 minutes left. That would be my guess. And by then the soup will be done, which is good. Oops. Okay, I can remember when I was a little girl, we always had a big Seder at either our house or my Aunt Julia and Uncle Rolly's house. And our house was always a buzz. We had a more traditional Seder and with more traditional Ashkenazic Eastern European foods. And my grandmother would always be standing in her apron at the sink, and she would make homemade what's called gefilte fish. Now, I don't happen to like, I never really did, gefilte fish, but a lot of people do like it, and it's one of the courses that's traditional at a Passover Seder. And it's usually served on a piece of lettuce. I just never really liked it. I think I've probably been born a vegan, but I just was, not living in a vegan house, and you just live with, you live the way your parents lived until you say no. Okay. Ty says, I'm suddenly hungry for an apple. Do you have any in your house, Ty? I'm wondering, because apple, you know what they say, an apple a day. Okay, here are that out of the way. And this says to dice them, so that's what I'm going to do. Peeled, cored, and diced. I think I'm going to... That is friggin' good. Okay. Ty is a friend of mine. He's actually my coach. I'm ratting him out. And Ty, I'm sure you can see, but I've been on for an hour and 41 minutes. I've had pretty much 11 or 12. It was up to 14 people watching, which is kind of cool. This is a dish called simmus, which is a casserole made with sweet potatoes and carrots and apples, and then you make a mixture, which I'm gonna show you in a minute, because it is delicious. And we'll see if this 2 apples was enough. I had to add more carrots, but this might be okay. We'll see. It's one of the. This is a traditional Ashkenazic recipe from Eastern Europe. And I'm sure that my grandmother and her siblings all made and ate this recipe. I'm positive. Okay, I'm going to add the apple. Let's see if we can do this without dropping everything. That would be a drag, wouldn't it? Okay, so here we go. Here's the apples. One for the road. All right. All right. You know what my instincts are, right? What does anybody think who's watching? Should I add another apple? What do you think? 1 apple? 2 more apples? Let's hear it from here. If you're watching, what do you think? I'm going to look and see in the chat. Cass says 2. Ty says I do a giant Honeycrisp and 2 tangerines I'm about to eat. Fabulous. You're talking my language. I love Honeycrisp apples. There's also another one called Cosmic, which they don't have too many places. Whole Foods has them. If you've never had one, go get one. They're called Cosmic. They're as good as the Honeycrisp. Okay, Ari's, well, I thought you went to bed. I tried clicking your link to the website and it didn't go through. Is there an email I can send the recipe? Yes. I don't know why it didn't go through. Where did you see that link? I'm curious. But in the meantime, you can send it to ellen@ellenshealthykitchen.com. You're pro apple. Does that mean you're pro more apple? I think. Look at how fabulously they're like paper thin. How cool is that? I friggin' love food. I feel like this is my box of crayons, to be honest with you. This is my box of crayons. I love it. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put this over here, go here, and we're going to do 2 more apples. Where did I put them? Oh, they're over here. You know what? Had I gotten larger apples, I think that it would have been better. But, okay, the soup has 1 more minute before I... Let's go like this. I need to have one of those mirrors that's like in the food cooking shows where I can show you the soup. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to try. Okay. Come on. You need to get out of there. Okay. I do not like that apple. No, I don't. Okay. All right, this. Okay. I think, so this is going to take me a minute, so I'm going to come back up here. And Renee says, oh, Ari says, one more. Renee says, I just jumped on. I'll have to watch the replay. Yes, there's a lot going on in my kitchen. Okay, let me just go over here. The soup. Oh, my God. That looks insane. I'm going to let it go for another few minutes because it took a while for it to come up to a simmer. So for those of you who are just on, or those of you who are on and have been on, bear with me because I want to tell the people who are just coming on what I'm doing. So the Jewish holiday of Passover is on Saturday, and it's traditional to have what's called a Seder. The word Seder actually comes from the Hebrew, and it means order. So there's a very deliberate order to the Seder, and there's a book that we use called the Haggadah. The Haggadah also comes from the Hebrew, and Haggadah comes from the root word is, how do you say it? I can't remember the exact root, but it comes from the root that means to tell. And so the idea is that Jewish people are beholden to continue every year to tell the story of their exodus from slavery. And so we all sit around the table. We have these they're called Haggadot, is in plural, Haggadot. And we tell the story. I'm in the home stretch, just in case you want to know.
Hungry.
You're hungry. Okay, so I need about 10 minutes, and then I'm all yours. Okay, so that's what, and so and everybody, families have their own traditional recipes. This recipe that I'm making is my mother's. May she rest in peace. Her simmus, it's called simmus. And it's funny, sometimes you use the word, don't make such a simmus about it, which is kind of like like don't make such a mishmash about it, which is what simmus is, a mishmash. So, okay. And so you have a traditional Seder with traditional foods. Mine is not quite traditional Eastern European because I'm vegan and they ate meat back in those days. So I'm going to, I used the link in your YouTube bio. Perfect. And I wonder where that link is that didn't work. I'm just curious. I don't know. So I'm just cutting up the apples. And then I'm going to add the prunes. And I'm going to bake this sucker tonight. So this is one less thing I have to do on Saturday. And so the menu is this asparagus leek soup and this timmis. And then I'm making maple roasted carrots and a frittata made with chickpea flour. And what else? Oh, there it is. I gotta go get it. Okay, I am going to shut off the soup and just let it sit while I finish this. Because the next step with the soup is I have to puree it with a stick blender. Okay, so the apples are now done. I'll show you. We're going to look at it and see. Okay. Oops, this one didn't get cut. This is going to be just delicious. Okay, so now I think that was enough. Have they been larger apples?
In other words,
Okay, the news is going on. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to add the chopped prunes. It's going to be here, so I need a half a cup of that. And here is prunes. Prunes are given a bad rap. They're really good. And I think I have to cut those. Okay. Got the prunes. So I need a half a cup, and I'm going to estimate it's about a half a cup. And we'll try one. Make sure they're good. Okay. So good. I'm going to chop this. That's so good. I'm going to chop them pretty small because nobody wants a big hunkin' piece of prune, but they add such a nice, lovely sweetness. And see, I'll show you. I'm cutting them. I really want to get them into sort of almost bite-sized pieces. Okay. Okay, that's going to go in to the casserole dish. Okay, in go the prunes. And I think that we need more. I think I underestimated. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, wash my hands. I'm going to bring you back into the picture. And Ty says, yeah, and tell him your crazy YouTube friends say hi. Cass says, give your husband a thanks for sharing your time with us. Starchy Shauna says, looking good, Ellen. Thanks for the explanation. You are welcome. Okay. I feel like this is time for me to stop now. It's been almost 2 hours. And Apple a Day says, hi, Ellen, I'm back. Is that the tzimmus? Yes, that's the tzimmus I'm prepping. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll tell you what I'm going to do that's left, but then I'm going to do it and I'll leave the recipes. What's left is to add another same amount of prunes. And then I'm going to add chopped walnuts or pecans, I'm not sure which. And then I make a mixture of honey, orange juice. I have to squeeze those oranges. Cinnamon, salt, clove, and nutmeg. And I pour that over and I bake it. And it bakes for 30 minutes covered and then uncovered. Stir well, then bake keeping it covered for another 15 to 20 minutes until the top is glazed and crusty. So I need to go make dinner for the two of us. So I am going to bid you adieu, and I'm going to say thank you so much for being here with me. This was fun, and come back tomorrow because she's coming over at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow we are going to make, I'll just remind you, tomorrow at 1 we are going to make the spinach artichoke dip, the frittata, and the mock chopped liver, which is really mushroom pate, and maybe make the macaroons. We'll see if I'm in the mood. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. And I'm in the Eastern time zone. And Em says, thanks for sharing your time with us. Loved it. It's so much fun. I love doing these lives. It really allows me to share my passion with people who come on with me. And this is going to be delicious. Just if you want to see it, you can see. Right? And then you'll see, because I'll definitely maybe in, on YouTube over in the post section, it's like the community section, I'll post pictures because I don't know that I'm going to do an entire video, like a separate video, because this will be enough, but I can't show you the picture now. Although maybe I'll show it to you tomorrow, right? Because it'll be done by then. Okay, whatever. Before I leave, does anybody have any questions at all? Let me know in the chat because I'm going to, and I'm not done. I'm actually going to go and, he doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to make, what did I tell him I was going to make? Oh, I'm going to make pasta. And I think I'm going to make a green sauce with it, maybe with zucchini and some other things. Apple says, oh, it's a clay baker. Yes, and I got it at a thrift shop, which is where I get most of my, or many of my kitchen toys. Not all. The food processor I bought at a store. And the pots and pans that I use, some of them I got on Amazon. Some of my favorites I got on Amazon. And some of them I got as a set on Costco, at Costco. I don't love them, but they're okay. But I have a induction stove, so you can only use certain kinds of pans. So I have to be really mindful of that. And so if you're just coming on, I don't know, Shauna, when you came on, but I made the soup. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to take this over here. There's the soup. That's the soup. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to use a stick blender and blend it so that it's pureed. And so I'll take a picture of that too and show that to you. And I'm just going to have to get hired by Food Network so that I get, I'm in a studio with a mirror up there that shows you what I'm doing. I actually know how to do that, but I just have to figure out how to make that happen in a live. I'm not sure. Okay. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. And glad to make your acquaintance. A couple things, just admin stuff. If you're interested in my 10-day challenge, which is going to happen sometime probably in May, then make sure you send me either go on my, I'll try to put a comment here with the link to join my email list, or you can just send me an email to ellen@ellenshealthykitchen.com, and I'll make sure you get onto my email list. I'll send you the link to sign up. And that is going to be happening, like I said, in May, and it's going to be limited to how many people I take because I like to keep it small. If you're interested, let me know. And also make sure right now, because I can see it, make sure that if you're watching, that you click on the heart so I can see all the little fluttering hearts go up on the side of the live chat. And I'm going to do another live tomorrow. See, I just saw a heart. I'm going to do another live tomorrow, and I'm going to do another live on Saturday, so you can really see me go through this whole entire process of making my meal for Passover. And if you celebrate Passover or Easter or nothing, if you don't celebrate either, these recipes are still wonderful. They're vegan, they're whole food, plant-based, they're oil-free, they're gluten-free, they're healthy, they're full of all the good stuff. And I want to encourage you to get on the bandwagon and join my club. You can see my husband has the news on behind, right behind there. And there you go. So I'm going to wait. We're going on 2 minutes. I have like a minute and a half left. So anybody having any questions before I hop off, let me know. This has been so much fun. My coach knows how much I love lives, and I've been doing them pretty regularly. I plan on doing them once a week, but with this holiday, I just thought it would be fun to have you follow my journey and show you how I make everything for the holiday of Passover. And I'll end up adding pictures. I'll show you pictures of my table, and I'll show you the Haggadah that we use to tell the story, and I'll just show you what it looks like. I'll show you what it looks like. That's what I'll do. So if anybody has any questions, put them there. What else can I ask you? I guess I can ask you to make sure to like this, make sure to come back, and if you have anybody who you think might be interested, send them the link for it. Stay in touch with me, join my email list, and just wherever you are in your world, be good, be kind. That's important. Kindness is important. Be happy. Spread your happiness, even in your crappy moments. Try to find the good in everything and in everyone. And with that, I bid you adieu. I bid you good night. And hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye.